And here we preparing to pass exams to become professional machine learning engineers. And let's congratulate our key speaker today, Mohammad. So let's start our journey in this amazing talk.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining with us to such a great journey with preparing for most professional machine learning certification. And today I will share insight basically on the module of the pre-trained API and trainings model and BigQuery ML and BQML and AutoML and custom trainings. Machine learning's certification, it is mainly focus on how you can train your model from scratch to endpoint. Not only model training, it also focus what the statistical procedure you are following and how you manage entire machine learning life cycle, as well as its monitoring based on the performance and debuggings. In this session, I will try to focus on basically the BigQuery MLs and AutoMLs and Bartex AI. There is a Google Cloud have a different type of the option to continue your process on the model trainings, and there has the multiple option, such as you can consider as a pre-trained API, as you can watch this my presentation. You can watch my presentation, the slide, the pre-configuration, pre-trained API, and BigQuery and AutoML and custom trainings. But when question will come, they will give you the one scenario actually, which available option you need to choose based on your use case. If you read properly your question, then you will see what kind of problem and statistical point they indicate in the question they're asking, they try to find out actually. Pre-trained API, it is already trained model. You will just call the model endpoint into your API and you can deploy your client and a client-facing application. And low code, no code, BigQuery ML and AutoMLs. This is also the you can train the model, but you don't need to train the model from the scratch, or you don't need to write the code, or you don't need to write the too much code. Okay, you just run just a specific flexible or small snippet of code just as a if you are familiar with the database query, SQL sequential query, as it is this format. And custom training, you can build the full models writing your code, and you have the flexibility choose your machine learning frameworks and operational procedure, and you have the total control on your model. So when you need basically the low code option, ML option, and custom training and predefined API, this is the main questions. When you have this, your teams or your company have the minimum operational efforts and has no time for the coding for the space to build the custom model, and you want to run within a short time and predefine and basic without any advanced and complex output, then you can go through the pre-trained model, pre-trained API call. And when you think you just want to do some prototyping or do some experiment, or your data scientist or machine learning engineers very familiar with the uh, SQL, and you want to run some of the experiment, or there is no very big complexity on your model, then you can use the BigQuery MLs. But if you have this complex option, still you can use the no code or low code ML option to pair with the Vertex AI and TensorFlow. Then you can extend it your model capabilities with more advanced level.
Mohammad, I have one notification. Uh, do you see at the title this small pop-up? You are sharing your entire screen. Can you please hover and move it somewhere other place, because our attendees tells it at the top, at the title. Uh,
This
okay,
one.
no. Okay, maybe it's not visible for you because me and other attendees, we see at the place of title horizontal notification. You are sharing your entire
Oh,
screen. Y-
this one.
Perfect. Thanks. Yes. I'm
Oh,
so sorry that I
sorry.
jump into your talk.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry, sorry. It's okay now?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Let us deep dive actually. Because machine learning certification, they will not ask you to write the code, and they will not ask to develop one model for your the experiment or show your expertise. Actually, they will focus actually how you will make a decision and which type of option you choose. It was based on the Google Cloud platforms, because the Google Cloud platform have a entry life cycle to manage the machine learning models, as well as different type of tools and platforms you can run your machine learning model and develop your machine learning model. So you need to make decision the when, which situation, and which type of requirement. Based on your requirement, you will make your decision. They will try to find out these things. So I already told you the ML option. Google Cloud have a three option: uh, the predefined API, trained API options, and BigQuery ML and AutoML and custom trainings. I also give some basic overview about when you need to use the pre-trained API and when you need to use the BigQuery ML and AutoML, as well as when you can deploy the custom trainings. I will deep dive more. Let us compare the four ML option here. Pre-trained API, BigQuery ML, AutoML, custom trainings. Data types: tabular, image, text, audio, and video. BigQuery ML supports the tabular. AutoML also supports the tabular image and text and video. Customized training, tabular image, text, and video. Training data size: no data required, minimum and large, small to medium, medium to large. Next row you see the ML and coding expertise: low, medium, low, and high. Flexibility to tune hyperparameters and time to train. What does it mean, this ML option? How you can choose your ML option? You need to keep remember two things. What is your business requirement? And what the time frames and cost and expertise? You need to, this key four attributes to remember. to make a decision which ML option you need to choose. Again, I can repeat your expertise, your budget, your business requirement, business and functional requirement, as well as your time frame. Then you will find out actually which option you should go. When you read the question, you will entirely understand if you give some concentration which point question are focusing. Find out this one first. Was the non-expertise, it was short time of output, or it was very complex situation or complex problem they try to rebuild. Then you can make the decision. As I say, pre-trained API you can use uh, for in a short times, and no expert is required. If you need to the custom trainings, you need to the expertise, you need to write code, you need to choose your own framework, okay? And if you don't have the own expertise too much, then you can choose the AutoML, because AutoML have the full entire machine learning's life cycle. You can just use this one, and within short and time you can develop your model. But there is more things, some of the issues you need to take consider. Suppose you find out, okay, this is not the expertise issues. This is the business requirement, you find out. This is your time frame, you find out. This is your find out, such as what called like your expertise. But there is other things. How the complexity your model. Is it it's a very complex functional or computing tasks you need to be done, you make to decision, you need to analyze its prediction, very complex situation, very complex model you want to develop. This is a more important, another importance. So when you try to very big complex models, as well as when you work with the complex computation and model training, you must have the very big data. Lot of data you need to be read right. You need to training. You need to ingest data for your model. So what happened? Then you need to consider, this is the model you try to develop, your configuration, your infrastructure. Are you suitable this? It can capable to manage the full of the entire emergency life cycle. It is the would be availability when situation is demand. It is scalability. It is availability. Is it the secure you model? You need to take consider all of things. When you read the question, you try to focus this main point. Main point. First of all, I choose to make decision how you can choose the ML option. Then you need to think about it. It is a very big model you are going to deploy. There is a big data set you are trying to work with your model. Okay. There is another things you can do. Okay, when you talking about the very big and complex model training, it must be them with lengthy process. It will be take the very big times, and you need to configure the timelines, pipelines for the machine learning. So when you configure the pipelines to work the big model trainings, what do you need to do? Is it will be work that I told you? It is discoverability. Is it will be availability? It will be secure. It is the fully you can manage without any interruptions. What kind of computation you need to calculation these algorithm model trainings? You need to take consider. Is it possible to manage your workload, whatever you have choose? Then you need to consider how you can manage this big model trainings, pipelines, everything based on your ML option, your selected ML option, as well as your machine learning infrastructure, as well as your machine learning platforms. What are you choosing? So when you make this decision, you think about overall this thing, what I discussed about it. All of this question basically will come focus on this issue. Are you able to take the decision successfully to consider all of these attributes I said? As the ML option and infrastructure tools and platform and pipeline smoothly you want to able to run, you need to take all of this consideration. Then you think that you can ask the ML coding expertise, is you need to very high level coding or low coding? It's the medium coding or high coding? Time to train models, medium, large, long. If it was the very take the long time and you need to continue to model training with the vast database and data set and a lot of computations you need, then you need to choose the custom trainings. But if you choose the custom training, sorry, if you choose the AutoML, if you can, so why you choose the custom training? Okay, if there is a BigQuery ML, so why you choose the AutoML and custom trainings? This is you need to decide to based on this option. You understand actually what kind of criteria you have, what kind of business objective and business requirement and functional requirement you have. You need to decide on this requirement. This is the right ML option, business need, ML expertise and budget that I explained before. Having little ML expertise, no intention to train the model, you can go through the pre-trained APIs. Be familiar with SQL and have a data in a BigQuery ML. Want to build a custom model with your own training data with the minimal coding, then you can choose the AutoML. Want the full control of ML workflow, then it's need to be the custom trainings. When you see the any question that was related to the model training and they are demanding about the flexibility and full control of the entire MLF's life cycles, then you need to choose the custom trainings. Because custom trainings the only platform you can train your own model from own data set and any any complex model you can training and you have the full of this content. You can choose the AutoML, but you will not get the full flexibility on the AutoML. I will discuss in depth a little bit more when I will go through the further steps. And you can use the BigQuery ML. Now, I will say a little bit more about actually why, if you can do one task in a BigQuery ML, so why you should go to AutoML, and what the flexibility in the BigQuery ML that will help you to make decision actually how is the boundary of this BigQuery ML. You deploy the model into the BigQuery ML and what the boundaries areas and what the limitation and what the advantages have and when you need AutoML actually and when you need actually the custom trainings. Again, I'm going to the in-depth more. Pre-trained API don't require the training data. That means it's already trained data. You don't need to require data. At the beginning of the time I said, you just need to be called to your API. But there is something you need to know about the save the time and effort from building the data set, curating the data set, training the data set, offer the service, or does it mean it will be complete managed by Google Cloud. You will just deploy the front-end application for your client-facing front-end facing client user application user. So when you need these things actually, this is the more predefined and more specific things when you don't have the data, you will just use the existing data set pre-trained model to building the data set and curating the data set and training the data set. Suppose you just needed the your basic output from your model, and this is one kind of is the reliable source from the your data, and you don't need to any operational or you need to take any performance monitoring issue over there. You just call in the API and find out how your model give this output, you're expecting output, is it okay, and how much it is was perfect, and how much you need to uh, adjust with your expectation requirement through the curating to create the curating data set. Then you can just deploy your front-end applications. Here is a some point you can check what kind of the pre-trained API are available actually. Cloud Natural Language API, Cloud Speech to Text, Convert Audio to Text for data processing, and Cloud Translation API, convert text from one language to another. Cloud Vision, work with and recognize the content and static images. And Cloud Video Intelligence, recognize the motion and action in a video. Dialog Flow API, build conversation interface. You need to have the merit actually when you make the decision, even the inside the predefined, you already know when you need the predefined API, but you need to choose actually which type of API you need to call. If you don't know about this, each of this API function and feature and how it is work and what kind of problem they can solve and have a predefined function that call you can throw this API, you need to know about it. For that reason, I would like to request you browse the Google Cloud documentation, pre-trained API documentation, and find out what time sort of type of the cloud natural language APIs functionality and feature have, and which circumstance you can use it, what kind of output you can get it. Then you can find out these limitations. Same is the cloud speech to text. Convert audio to text for the data processing. There, you don't need to train your audio data and any data. You don't need to train any data. You will just call the API. And so, but you need to find out actually each of these predefined API, what kind of functionality, what kind of attribute, what kind of feature you have, what kind of problem you can solve. You need to be understand about these things, because when in the exam the question will come, they will give you the some. You need to choose actually which type of predefined you have need to use and the ideal for this solution you need to define. If you don't know the what kind of this feature have each of these API, then you can't answer it properly. So you need to deep dive with this each of these API functionalities, features, and how it is work and what kind of output you can take. Let us some of the sample question. In this sample question, I will try to explain you something more. Let us, what is it? Suppose you work for the multinational organization that has recently begun the operation in Spain. Teams within your organization will need to work with various Spanish documents, such as business, legal, and financial document. You want to use the machine learning to help your organization get accurate translation quickly and with fast and effort. Your organization does not require the domain specific terms of jargon. What should you do? If you concentrate on this question, they use the some word about they don't need they want to translate some of Spanish document such as a business, legal, and financial document. And they want to use the machine learning to help the organization get accurate translation quickly because you don't need to train your data. They already trained some data that give you the instant result for you and less effort. That means you don't need to any operational activities over there. So your organization also does not require the too many specific term or jargon. And what should you do? Suppose they're not don't require any data privacy and compliance issues and other specific fact that can be predefined to compliance check. They don't need this. That means there is no any complexity. Let us to explore this. What kind of option have? The create a Bartex AI work-based notebook instance in the notebook, extract the sentence from document, and train the customs AutoML text model. And we use the Google Translate to translate 1,000 phrases from the Spanish to English. Using this translate feature, train the custom AutoML, train the model. Okay, look, first A and B, both are talking about the AutoML and text model. But in the question, they say they need the least effort. And within short time, they went the accurate result. Also, there has no any domain specific term and jargon. If they told you, then they can need the accurate result as well as they need a domain specific mm, uh, terms to get the complex output. Then we can see thinking about the automatic model, something more deeper, and you need to spend more time. But this is no, it is the least effort and translation quickly. So there is a time race. There is no big time frame. This is the short time frame you want to get your output. Let us next to one. Use the document translation feature of the Cloud Translation API to translate the document and create a Vertex AI Workbench notebook instance in the notebook, convert to Spanish document into the plain text, and create a custom transfer sequence to translation model. Document are in Spanish. Need the Spanish to English translation. Business, legal, financial document, general purpose, but not require the special jargon or domain specific customization. An accurate translation, less effort. You don't need to build or train the ML model from scratch. Requirement full handle the full document, not just the short of the text. That means you need to upload the full document. Okay, they inside this question they did not say you need to translate part of this document as well. That means this is the entire document. You need to grab up the document and translate it yourself. Okay. Okay. So what does it mean? That's mean it is the if I use the document translation feature of the Cloud Translation API, it will be support English language to Spanish to English language out of this box. This document translation feature let you to upload the full business, legal, financial document, any kind of format, as example PDF or docs or presentation PPTX, and to return translate the version with preserving layout and formattings. This is the simplest, most effective, and Google recommended approach is here. That means we don't need the ML, auto ML. We don't need the customs module or very complex or extract sentence from the document or we need to extract full document. So then A, B, D is not the correct. It is correct up to C. But if you don't know actually what kind of predefined API have what kind of feature that you can't this answer. For that reason, based on this example of this question, if you go through with this predefined API and find out very short way what kind of feature have each of this API, then you have this memorized. Oh, okay, this kind of this feature have this API, then I can solve this problem better than this feature, better than this feature. This kind of way you can make this decision. This is the one to Google Cloud to test you, your make the decision on the machine learning's entire life cycle. Let us the next question. Next question. Suppose you work in an organization that maintains the cloud-based document communication platform that requires that integrate the conversational chat, voice, and video conferencing into one platform. The audio recording are stored in the cloud storage. All recording have a 8 kilohertz sample rate and more than 1 minute long. more than 1 minute long. And here is the kilohertz sample, is the 8 kilohertz sample. You need to implement a new feature in the platform that will automatically transcribe the voice call recording into text for future application, such as call summarization and sentiment analysis. How should you implement the voice call transcription feature following the Google recommended best practice? There is another hint you have, that Google recommended best practice. When you read this documentation, or when you work in the Google School practice, skill boost practice for the machine learning, you try to focus what each of these labs, what kind of the best practice they note over there. You keep this note and give some extra concentration so that you can make the decision while you sit on the exam. Let us know what kind of option they give us. Use the original audio sampling rate and transcribe the audio by using the speech to text API with synchronous recognition. Use the original audio sampling rate and transcribe the audio by using the speech to text API with synchronous recognition. Upsample the audio recording to 116 kilohertz that transcribe the audio by using the speech to text API with synchronization recognition. Upsample the audio Upsample the audio and 16 kilohertz transcribe the audio by using the speech to text API with asynchronous recognition. Recording are longer than 1 minute. Synchronous recognition is not appropriate since the Google speech-to-text synchronous recognition is limited to audio of 1 minute or less. For the longer recordings, asynchronous, asynchronous recognition is the recommended best practice. Recording at sample rate at 8 kilohertz, that is the common sample rate. And all of this video uh, voice, it should be the 8 kilohertz, the common sample rate. Google speech to text support 8 kilohertz input directly and explicitly recommend using the original sample rate, not the up sampling, because the up sampling does not improve the accuracy and may introduce the error effects. So what you need to, we need to use the audio original format and original sample rate and synchronize synchronous recognition. It is not more than 1 minute duration will be converted. And upsampling audio recording will not give you the accurate speech to text output. That means two of the upsampling audio recordings and 16 gigahertz will be not supported. That means we need to use the original audio sampling rate and transcribe the audio by using the sample to text API with asynchronous recognition. Because the original rate is inside the question, they say that 8 kilohertz sample rate is the original rate at more than 1 minute long. But a synchronization recognition does not support the more than 1 minute. It will be less than 1 minute or 1 minute. Okay, that's mean that B is the correct. If you don't know actually how speech to text work and what kind of features and ability and limitation have, then you will be stuck here. You need to know about this API limitation. Suppose how many duration of voice sound recording file you can convert at a times, and what is the kilohertz rate, this kind of attribute we need to remember things. Let us another questions. Suppose you work for a hotel and have a dataset that contains the customer written comment scanned from paper-based customer feedback form, which are stored as a PDF file. Every form has the same layout, and you need to quickly predict overall satisfaction score from the customer comment on each form. How should you accomplish this task? They give the four answer here. Use the Vision API to parse the text from each PDF file. Parse text from each PDF file. Use the natural language API and analyze the sentiment feature into interface overall, infer overall satisfaction score. Use Vision API to phrase the text from each PDF file and use the natural language API and analyze the entity sentiment feature to infer the overall satisfaction score. Obtain a document After in a document, a custom extractor to phrase the text and comment section of each PDF and use the natural language API analyze the sentimental feature to infer the overall satisfaction score. Uptime a document a custom extractor to parse the text, the comment section of its PDF file and use natural language API and analyze sentiment feature to infer overall satisfaction score. If you concentrate this question, you will find you need to input the scanned PDF feedback from same layout and text and comment field and predict overall satisfaction score from the free text comment, not a part of this comment, and need to extract only the customer comment text and not a header label or other things before running the sentimental analysis. The Vision API parse text natural language API analyze the sentiment. Vision API can OCR the text, but it is a general OCR tool and won't leverage the fixed layout of the form. You need to manual the phrase parse and extract just the comment field, which is the extra effort. Analyze the sentiment is the correct for overall satisfaction, but not the most efficient, the best practice. Vision API B, the parse the text, analyze entity sentimental analysis, same program as the general OCR because it will uh, take the whole document and plus analyze the entity sentiment is meant the sentiment toward the specific entities. The stuff was root, not overall text. It will talking about the just extract some specific entity. Suppose this is a cat. This is the cat drinking milk. This is not food. That's one. This is the cat, or this is just extract the cat. Not like this entity will analysis for the sentimental. Plus, it is not a support the full of the document, full of the free text comment. The document AI custom extractor and extract the comments section of the natural language API, analyze the sentiment, and document AI is a design for a structure from document with consistent layout. Write a custom extractor, you can directly target the comment field, then use the analyze sentiment to score the satisfaction. This is matched with the requirement perfectly. And document AI customer extractor not only use for the entity sentimental analysis. That means the C is the correct because the document AI is designed for structure from and document with consistent layout, and it can extract the free comment text, not a part of that means you you don't need to extract this entity analysis. The question, the answer D, they mention you need to document AI custom extractor and extract the comment, analyze the entity sentiment. So the C is the correct. So if you don't know actually what kind of the capabilities or advantages have in the document AI and how it is work, then you will extract here. So document C, answer C is the correct. Let us another question we will deep dives. You work for a company that captures the live video footage of the checkout area in the retail store, and you need to use the live video footage to build a model to detect the number of customers waiting for service in the near real time, and you want to implement the solution quickly and to the minimal effort. How should you build the model? Four option, use the Bartex AI Vision occupancy analytics model, use the Bartex AI Vision person and BQML detecting model, and train an AutoML object detection model on annotate the dataset by using the Bartex AutoML. Train sequence to 6 to object detection model on the annotate dataset by using the Bartex AutoML. What is the key point here? Live video footage of checkout area, but there is the queue. Detect the number of customers waiting for the service. Essentially, people are counting and occupancy. Occupancy needed quickly and minimal effort. So pre-built solutions are preferred for the custom trainings. Use the Bartex AI Vision occupancy analytics model. This is the pre-built model specifically for occupancy analytics, people counting, crowd estimation, and dwell time iteration. The designed for exactly this use case, detecting how many people are in this area in near time, near real time, matches the perfectly minimal approach. This is the Bartex AI Vision occupancy analytics model is the perfect. Why? Because of this is the pre-bits model and specifically for occupancy analytics, people counting and crowded estimation and real time and designed for exactly the use case detecting how many people are in this area in near real time. The use the Bartex AI Vision person and BQL detect this model is wrong because the pre-built object detection for the people and vehicles, but it detects the presence, not occupancy queue length analytics. That means it's can't counting about the queue and how many people are waiting and occupancy over there. It will be not counted. You could use it to detect the people and count them, but it would require the extra logic. Extra logic, you need to write the extra function that's tracking across the frame and the aggregation. The more effort than needed. But the question say less effort. So we don't need that give you the extra effort. Training the AutoML object detection model number C requires the collecting and annotating their own data set, time consuming, not the minimal effort. While the question is say it was the minimal effort, but if I choose the training the AutoML object detection model, I need to require collecting and customs anointing own data set. But it is the wrong approach for this. And transformer sequence to sequence object detection model is the same with the more complex and custom option, but we need to the less effort within the short-term output. That's mean we need to the definite application with the Bartex Vision occupancy analytics model. This is the best suite for this question answer. So you already define actually, if you work with the predefined model app, there is any question come through focusing the predefined API, then you need to focus what kind of features is the attribute actually you need to know and how you need to use. If you don't have this minimum overview idea, if you don't have, you can make this decision perfectly. Let us go through it another questions. It is all of the based on how you can choose the predefined APIs on your model trainings. Some you work at a leading healthcare firm and developing the state-of-art algorithm for various use cases, and you have an unstructured textual data with custom level. You need to extract and classify various medical phrase and this the label with this label. What should you do? Use the healthcare natural language API to extract the medicine entity. Use the BART-based model to fine-tune the medical entity extraction model. Use AutoML entity extraction to train a medical entity extraction model. Use the TransFlow to build a custom medical entity extraction model. Find out the key point. What's the key point here? This is the data is the unstructured textual medical data. It is not a structured data. And it's give the requirement, exact classify medical trace with the custom syllable. Then we need to, it is already have the medical phase with the customs label. We don't need to give the customs label on our data. And already have the custom field labels. So you are not just looking for general purpose of the medical entity extraction and should leverage the Google Cloud recommended best practice. So what I need to do, we need to do, use the natural language API. This is extract the standard medical entity, condition, medication, and procedural using the pre-trained the model, but it does not support the training with the customs level since you are explicitly have the customs level. Because in the question say we need to extract the medical phrase with the customs level because it is already the customs level, but the health natural language API will not support it. Will not support it. Use the BART-based model to fine-tuning to extract the model. This is the BART can be fine-tuned for the near named entity recognition with the custom medical report, but that requires the custom ML engineering level data set, infrastructure, and training. It is not the Google recommended minimal approach. That means we can't use the BART-based model because of the because we already know the custom ML engineering level data set, infrastructure training. It is not require the minimal effort. We need to the minimal operational effort. They use the AutoML entity extraction to train a medical entity extraction model. This is the best mess because you will use the AutoML entity extraction to train the medical entry extraction model. Suppose in the Bartex AI, allow you to train the custom entity extraction model with your own levels because in the question they say already data have with the customs levels. You provide your annotate medical text with the customs level. AutoML handles the training, evaluation, and deployment. And this is the Google recommended approach for unstructured data plus custom entity levels. But using the TensorFlow to build a custom medical entity extraction model, similar the with the BART model. If you use the BART model, you can fine tuning this model, but you need to have a design architects training loop, evaluation, development, not minimal approach, not best practice when the AutoML is available. Because questions say you need the minimum effort, but you need to the train with your customs model, custom data set data labels with entity. So we can use the easiest way is the AutoMLs. If you go through the AutoML documentation, then you will find what type of feature have an attribute and how it is work and which feature works very perfectly, which use case and scenario. If you go through some of this example, then you will find out. And I would like to suggest one thing. Browse the Google Cloud blog site. Here is the machine learning section. There is a lot of existing enterprise level of customer who are using the Google Cloud for their model training, and they using the Google Cloud documentation framework, strategy, and best practice. You can check their experience, how they overcome their challenge. You will get the right decision from them. Let us another sample of questions. You work for a pet food company that manages an online forum. Customer upload photos of their pet on the forum to share with the others. About 20 photos are uploaded daily. You want to automatically and near real-time detect whatever each uploaded photos has an animal. You want to prioritize the time and minimize the cost of your application development and deployment. What should you do? Send the user submitted image to the Cloud Vision API. Use the object localization to identify the all object in the image and compare the result against a list of the animals. Or B, download an object detection model from the TensorFlow Hub. Deploy the model to Vertex AI endpoint. Send the user submitted image to the model endpoint to classify whatever the each photo has an animal or C. Manually label the previously submitted image with bounding box around an animal. Build an AutoML object detection model by using the Vertex AI. Deploy the model to Vertex AI endpoint. Send the new user submitted image to your new model endpoint to detect whatever each photos has an animal or manually label the previously submitted image as a having animal. Be careful. You will find out options very similar, close to each other, but there is some phase is different, and its meanings totally opposite. If you don't concentrate, you will do the mistake. and the wrong answer. So be careful about it. Create an image data set on Vertex AI. Train a classification model by using the Vertex AI AutoML to distinguish the two classes. Deploy the model to Vertex AI endpoint. Send new submitted images to your model endpoint to classify whatever each photo has an animal. What's the actual point here in the questions? Detect what an uploaded photos has any animal. There is any animal picture on these photos, and it's need to be 20 photos a day, very small of the volume, not a very big volume of that photos you need to upload it. Instead, just 20. And near real-time detection, it need to be the real-time detection. That means you upload the document and it will automatically detect, oh, there is an animal or not. This is very short times, okay, and minimal effort, minimal development effort, and low cost. And they also say in the question it is the low cost. So what is the indicating these things? Whereas the Cloud Vision API and object localization compare against the animation list. Cloud Vision API already has pre-trained the object detection and classification, and you can directly detect the animals like dog, cat, any kind of snakes. You can detect from this level detection or object localization result. No custom model trainings, no development cost, and pay per use cheaper than for 20 images per day. And this is the quickest low cost and minimal effort solution. I told you the inside of this question, you have the very proper hints and about your solution. If you go through it, my earlier say I you need to check your minimum, your budget, your expertise, your time, your business requirement, and functional requirement. If you understand your business requirement inside of the question, then you will find out actually what you need to do. If you can identify the how much times you need to get this solution, you can get your answer. Okay, what kind of result you will and the functionalities you need to be get the result, then you get find out actually which type of solution and ML option you need to choose. And it is very specified. If you choose carefully the four option, what are talking inside this option, then you easily find out actually which one it was. That's mean the question A is the correct. So let us uh, talk about something about the trainings, the trainings models, how you can trainings the model, and it will give you the already you familiar about uh, already you familiar about how you can use the predefined API and what type of solution and attribute and strategical point you need to things uh, to choose the right option for your solution. Now I will talk about the trainings, the model, and I want to clear more things. There is a lot of ton of document and you will get overwhelmed actually to find out who is the expert you already know. And when who is the expert, sometimes they lose their concentration. If you thinking what I suggest, this is my experience, I did it like this way, and I got the past, I didn't get the past as well, I also gained the experience how you can make the faster decision for my solution based on this the point. If you go through with these things, I hope you will get this. Now I will try to in-depth exploration of the training the model. Suppose when you train the model, this is the very important part of the ML life cycles. Where the Vertex AI fit the ML workflow, we already know. You can use the Vertex AI to manage the flowing stages in the ML workflow. When you use the Vertex AI, shall I need to say something about the what is the Vertex AI? You already know the Vertex. What is the Vertex AI? Vertex AI is the Google Cloud machine learning platform that will Vertex AI platform. You can manage your full model training entry life cycle easily without any interruption if you follow the Vertex AI procedure. you can do it. That means it is very essential for when you train the custom model trainings. It will give you the very flexibility, and you can train the very powerful and very complex model training. So let us find out what the Vertex AI can do and how it is work when you train the model. It is first you need to create a data set, and if you see my chat diagram here, first you need to create the data set and upload the data. After that, train an ML model on your data, train the model, evaluate the model accuracy, tune, hyperparameter, and custom training. Again, upload your restore your model in the Vertex AI and deploy your training model to an endpoint to serving the prediction. Send the prediction request to your endpoint. You are deploying your custom model. You need the data. This is your own data. This is your own data. You need to upload either in your Google Cloud storage bucket or the any data source as like the BigQuery. You can upload there, or you can create this data set. After that, you can training. You can fast train this model. This is your data, and you get this result. But this is not start fair. You need to tuning these things. What the result you want to expect, is it okay? It is the accurate. You need to fine tune investment. You need to adjust the accuracy, Q ratings, your model output, and train it, evaluate it performance, debugging the performance. Again, you need to uh, retrain this model for more perfect result and accuracy. So all of this loop, continuous loop, you need to follow one standard framework. One you can call the standard framework. This is the Vertex AI give you the all procedure you can manage without any interruption. It is just not only about the platforms issues. When you work as a machine learning engineer, you will work multiple stakeholders, such as data scientist or database engineer or data scientist and the others ML engineer. So how you will behave each other, like you are familiar with the DevOps, okay? How you can manage your project, how you will manage your application, how you will monitor your uh, application performance. The same as it is that you need to define how your model, your training, and how your model is working, and how you detect the model performance, and how we update with this performance, and how it will go through it. Based on these activities, how you will treat with your teammate and external stakeholder. All those things you need to be considered here. This is the things we can mention in the chat that train the model, first evaluate this model accuracy, then tune, and hypercomputer custom trainings model. Hypercomputer, when you have this very complex model, you need to train, you need to hyperparameter for this custom trainings model. Against, after deploy this model, you need to upload in model in the Vertex AI. Then you deploy your model train to the endpoint for serving the prediction. You train your model, but you need to use this model. So you need to generate the endpoint to serve in the prediction so that you can call this endpoint into your application and analyzes your model prediction, what the result you expected, what kind of result are giving you, it is the accuracy. You can do experiment after generating the prediction. Then send the prediction request to your endpoint and specify a prediction traffic split into your endpoint and manage your model and the endpoint. Last two, three steps I need to go through the more details. When you work, suppose you are you are on the BQ, you are on the BQ. When you are in the BQ, that's when you have the very uh, workload. So if you have the very workload, that you need to be this workload need to be split or small size of. the workload so that you can manage the very big workload in a very smooth way. Because suppose you are running one base processing or large data set, and there is a lot of data you ingesting at a times. When you will call the at a time, and it will be some overwhelm, or it will be about the time out, or it will fail for computing resource or something. If you split it on this queue as a small chunk of this data set, or small tasks, that you can complete the big tasks in the at a times. And is the similar with the suppose the thousands of visitors come one at a time. How you will manage this workload? For that reason, you need to send this traffic, that's the workload, in the split way into the reading point, so that your model and model training infrastructure can manage in the proper way. That's meant the your full ML workflow you can manage through this Vertex AI platforms. Either the uploaded create data set to int the model, trainings, deployment, and endpoint, and after deploy the model, and you can manage as well. Now I will show you the compare the four ML option that I already discussed about this, and when you need this uh, custom trainings, AutoML, BigQuery ML, and predefined. And I already show you do experiment on the pre-trained API and BigQuery ML and AutoML. When I came in the Vertex AI ML workflow, this is when you are working with the custom trainings. How you will work with the BigQuery ML. BigQuery ML is you can create your data set, and you can create the train, evaluate, and predict, classify. The BigQuery is a serverless platforms. You can ingest your data into the BigQuery data set, and you don't need any resource to deploy the model or model training. You will just create model function, and you can create this model. This is the one of the flexibility, the BigQuery ML. But when you can use this BigQuery ML, while there is AutoMLs, where is the custom model training on the Vertex AI, Vertex AI or TensorFlow, something to why you need the BigQuery ML, and what kind of feature you can do this inside this BigQuery ML. In the BigQuery ML function, there is a you can create your data set, you can train the model, as well as you can evaluate their performance and predict and classify it in the same platform. You don't need to go for your structure for another platform, for your model training, for your data set to another platform. You don't need to jump anywhere. Who is the familiar with the SQL? Okay, who just were able to create the sequential queries, suppose create a database as an employer, or call the data, retrieve data from the tables. As like the same syntax, you can train the model as well. That's mean it is who is very familiar. If you're machine learning engineer or data scientist who is the familiar with this square, he can create any model in the same platform without interacting with any third party or any uh, others platform to for the model training. Just write the SQL command, and they can do it. This is very flexibility. But when you're talking about advanced level of the model trainings, advanced model training, I'm trying to say the complex model solution, then you can pair with the Vertex AI and TensorFlow. But if you went to the model, you just went to some prototype experiment, or you went to instant valuation the model prediction, or you want to instant deploy the model within your familiar language, then you can write the shortcode, and there is not too much coding you require here. You can do it, and also you don't need to provision the for the machine learning infrastructure for your model trainings, because the BigQuery is a serverless and it's give you the flexibility. Then when you need this, when you want to evaluate your model, you want to create the model instantly inside your database when you are working with your data set and database. Suppose that you're cleaning, your analysis, different types of things. You reading data and analysis and different type of based on the different type of variation for the prediction. Okay, that time you can same platform you can create your model for your evaluation and your prototypings. Suppose you are working a very big project, and before you running the project, you want to meet your expectation actually how this model will work, and you want to do some experiment. It will be very grateful for instant evaluation and uh, instant model development. The latest find out actually uh, uh, what kind of method and model and feature support into the BigQuery ML. The classification model, here is the logistic regression model, and GNN and classifier for TensorFlow and XBoost and AutoML tables and wide deep neural set. There is the other model. There is a different type of model BigQuery support. When the most of the question, it will overall we'll play with you about the BigQuery and Bartex AI. I'm not talking about that just only focus on the BigQuery table. No, it will automatically come based on your use case, based on the scenario. But you need to choose how you will make the decision, how you will make your solution to get the better performance, to get the better result, to manage the operational is very efficient way with the good performance. Okay, which platform, and you can extend it your for adventure feature for the model trainings. You need to know this kind of overviews when you use the, especially for your exam, especially for your exam. If you don't know actually when you use this model logic regression, when you don't you need to use the classification model, which kind of solution you want to solve, and which model should be the best for you this solution, then you are stuck. This is the primary hint. This is very you can say this is a very sweet talk. It is actually because this is the basic. Sometimes the basic is very advanced sometimes, because you, if you forget somehow the basic parameters, basic concept, somehow you will get great mistakes. The everything you need to be the proper organized. When you do something, you need to be the proper organized. It does not matter how much you know and how much you can do. This is not a matter. If you are not the proper organized, you will not successfully. Most of the time you will be fail. For that reason, when you prepare for the specific exams, you need to be organized actually what you know and how you will represent your your understanding and your expertise. You need to give one flow there, and you need to keep one thinking method that this is the best point, this is the best point, this is the key point. You need to do these things. For this reason, when you work with algorithm or you try to build up some solution, you need to actually which model have which type of featured abilities, at what kind of output they will give you, at what kind of resources you need to use this model, and which platform will support. Is it will be support including the infrastructure as well, or you need to choose set up infrastructure as well. If you need your own data set or not, okay, you want to get the result for pre-trained existing data set or not. If it was not, you need to the your own data set, and you need to train your own model. So there is very big operation. It is just not only the platform, also you need the expertise. And at that time you need to choose, think about actually which algorithm should be work, which model function will be work, and which type of model, give the which type of the feature. You need to keep the overview in your sense while you read these questions. And if you do some experiment on the skill boost, here is the, you already know uh, the skill boost course curriculum. There is a in lab, you can practice it, that will be familiar. And as well as if you go through the documentation that I told mentioned here, how you should optimize, customize your thinking and your expert. There is a lot of URLs, so you can't go through all of these URLs yourself at a time. So, you need to organize. Okay, I really should go through this. That for the reason I told you, first thing your operational, first thing your budget, first your time, how it will work, how long time it will take, what kind of resource you need, okay, and what kind of budget you need. You need to think like this way. Then you will find out your exactly point. Actually, this way you need to work. And if you follow the and concentration on the question nature, then you will find out your answer from the four uh, option. BigQuery ML execute ML initiative without moving data from BigQuery that I mentioned you, and iterated the model SQL in a BigQuery to increase the development speed and automated common ML tasks and hyperparameter tunings that I told you. You don't need to go through any external or other third parties platform to train your model. If you need something to deploy and be a prototype, you can do it instantly. If you do some experiment on your data, you can create the BigQuery ML model and you can run this modeling point inside of this SQL console. BigQuery have the own SQL console that you can write it direct, create function, create model, create evaluation model. You can directly do this. If you go through the BigQuery ML documentation, you'll find out which type of the functional attribute over there and what kind of output they will give. You will find out all of the details there. Let us deep dive some of the sample question, how the real question will focus the BigQuery ML uses and implementation into this sample question. Will give you these hints actually how it will focus the BigQuery ML into your real case scenario to test your knowledge. As a sample, you are working for the large retailer and you need to build a model to predict customer churn. The company has a data set of the historical customer data, including the customer demographic, parcel history, and website activities. You need to create a model in a BigQuery ML and thoroughly evaluate its performance. What should you do? They say the third option, the create a linear regression model in a BigQuery ML. If you know what purpose using the linear regression model, are you familiar with this question? What the solution they're asking? If you compare these things, then you will find out. The BigQuery ML registered the model in the Vertex AI model registry. It was the link up. While he created the linear regression model in the BigQuery ML, they also explained your activities with the Vertex model registry and evaluated the model performance in the Vertex AI. I will explore deep dive into it. Create a logistic regression model in the BigQuery ML and register the model in the Vertex AI model and evaluate the model performance in the Vertex AI. Create a linear regression model in a BigQuery ML, use the ML, evaluate the function, and evaluate the model performance. Create a logistic regression model in a BigQuery ML, use the ML confusion matrix function to evaluate the model performance. Evaluate the model performance. Now you can see if you uh, if you create the linear regression model in a BigQuery ML and to register the model in the Vertex AI model registry, barter model registers and predict the customer churn and customer demography, process history, and website activities. Also, you need to use the BigQuery ML, and you want to build the model and through the evaluated performance. I mean, you want to develop the one model and you want to uh, predict your model performance through the visitor and process histories, process histories. So what type of model we are using? Suppose the Tron is a classification program, classification, the binary outcome, and chart was not the chart, the logistic regression and not linear regression, which is for the continuous numerical prediction, which is contradiction model. And BigQuery ML has the built-in function because BigQuery has the own ML.evaluated function, has the return metrics like precise, recall, accuracy, and logs. So ML confusion matrix return the confusion matrix for the classification model. So they're talking about the vertex AI evaluation, that is the model. But BigQuery also have their own evaluation model that you can evaluate your model. For the through evaluation, use the ML evaluated because it gives you the complete state of the classification. Matrix, not just a matrix, but linear regression plus vertex AI, wrong model type, the linear regression. Also, no need to export the vertex AI just for the evaluation. While while suppose BigQuery has the own evaluation model. If BigQuery have the own evaluation model, then you don't need to transfer your model just only for evaluation of the vertex AI because BigQuery have this one as well. The logistic regression plus vertex AI. The logistic regression is the correct, but again the exporting to vertex AI is unnecessary. BigQuery ML has the built-in evaluation function. So linear regression plus ML evaluated is totally the wrong types. So logistic regression ML confusion matrix is the correct because the when you work the but confusion models is not go through the evaluation. It is the misses the precise the recall and F1 function. So it is the F1. But when you work, I think that this is the very disappointed because if you think that there is two similar questions, similar option here. If you think that the ML option one is the evaluation model and you can evaluate the model through the vertex order is enough because have the already the evaluation model. For that reason, I think the create a logistic regression model in the BigQuery ML and use the ML confusion matrix function to evaluate the model performance because ML confusion matrix give you the more details about your model evaluation. So this is very most appropriate, and as well as you can run into inside the SQL. BigQuery SQL console, so you don't need to extend your operation into the Vertex AI platform as well. So this is the unnecessary. So I feel it is the best preference and the best answer should be the D. Create a logistic regression model in a BigQuery ML and use the ML confusion underscore matrix function to the evaluate the model performance. Well, there is a BigQuery have another evaluation model, but when it was the option is the ML confusion method, it will give you the more in-depth details for your model performance. So let us deep dive another sample question. Another sample questions actually how you can suppose you we will derive this another question. Suppose you are deploying the training model pipeline for an exposed classification model based on the tabular data. The data is stored in the BigQuery table, and you need to compute the following step: randomly split the data to training and evaluation the data set and 65 and 35 ratio, and contact the feature engineering obtain the matrix of the evaluation data set, and compare the training in a different pipeline execution. They give you the question and give you the some attribute so that uh, you can randomly split the data into the training and evaluation data set and contact the feature engineering, obtain the metrics for the evaluation data set, and compare the model trained in a different pipeline execution. How should you execute these steps? The question they give you the some option to execute the pipeline. Let us see. Use the Bartex AI pipeline as a component to divide the data into the training and evaluation set. Add another component for feature engineering and enable the auto logging of the metrics in the training components and compare the pipeline using the Bartex AI experiment. And option B, use the Bartex AI pipeline add the components to divide the data into the training and evaluation the data set. Add add another component for feature engineering. As well as you need to enable auto logging of the metrics in the training components and compare the model using the artifact to lineage in Bartex ML metadata. Option C in the BigQuery ML use the create model statement and boosted reclassify the model type and use the BigQuery to handle the data split. Use the SQL view to apply the feature engineering and train the model using the data in that view. Compare the evaluation metrics of the models by using the SQL query with the ML training info statement. And option D, in the BigQuery ML, use the create model statement with boosted tree classifier as the model type and use the BigQuery to handle the data split. Use ML transformation to specify the feature engineering transformation and train the model using the data in the table. Compare the evaluation matrix of the model by using the SQL query and ML training info the statement. This is very big question, and there is a lot of subset that you need to follow. You need to do what the main question is. You are developing the training pipeline for the new XBoost classification model based on the tabular data. Based on the tabular data. So what you need to do? So you are creating the Bartex pipelines, Bartex pipeline to the Bartex pipeline. We need to explore each set of these option so that we can understand it the better way. Actually, Bartex using a Bartex AI pipeline, add a component to divide the data into the training evaluation set, and add another component for feature engineering. Enable the logging of the metrics in the training component. Compare the pipeline runs Bartex AI experiment. Compare the pipeline run in a Bartex AI experiment. This is consistent. Enable the auto logging of metrics in the training components. This is also the consistent. They're using the Vertex AI pipeline as the component to divide the data into the training and evaluation set and another components for feature engineering that I told you when you work the big data set. I mentioned it before. You need to split it so that you can training this model and the pipeline workflow it very smoothly you can run. Smoothly you can run. So the Bartex AI pipeline has the best choice for orchestrating customs ML workflow, splitting data, feature engineering, training, and evaluation. This is the Bartex AI feature. If you don't know about in depth about the Bartex AI feature, what kind of feature, what kind of functionality and attribute have, and how it is work, and which type of situation challenge you can overcome with this feature, you need to know about this thing. So I will like to request you to browse the Bartex AI and find out the common terms actually, and find out what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage. If you go through the Bartex AI, you will find out a lot of note inside the main documentation. Okay, give some concentration on the note. That will be very helpful to understanding the very big documentation for you. Okay, and find out the the every exam there is some common scenario. Okay, you think this is easy or hard. Actually, this is not easy or hard. There is nothing something like that. It is rely on you. Actually, how much you understand, how much you spend the time, and how much you actually you understand the challenge you need to. And if you know what you need to solve, then you will find out the solution. And you will go through with this like what is the main terminology of the Bartex AI, what is the main feature of this Bartex AI, and when you can use, and what is the best way you can use to just explore the best practice, as well as the each of this node you will find out inside the documentation. Google Cloud documentation give the hints what's it's the restriction, what is the advantage, what is the best practice in this section. Just overview these things. It will be very helpful to support your thinking, support your thinkings. So similar is a suggestion: compare the model using the Bartex metadata artifact learners instead of the Bartex AI experiment. While ML metadata track, the artifact experiment is the better suited comparing the model performance across the run. You are working with the Bartex AI. The Bartex AI have their own experiment, model experimentation feature, so it will be very helpful for you compared to this model. So using the BigQuery ML, which automatically split the data, no control over the 65 and 36 ratio. The feature engineering via the SQL view the less flexible than pattern-based transformation in the Vertex AI. ML training info only provide the training matrix, not a structured way to compare the multiple model version. Option D also use the BigQuery ML and suffering from the same limitation as the C, not explicit the 65 or 35 exploitation. The ML transformation helps with the feature engineering, but it is less flexible than Vertex AI custom components. So like see, it's rely on the ML training info which lack of the advanced model comparison feature. The Bartex AI pipeline is the best choice for your custom and reproducible workflow and a precise the data exploitation, experimentation, tracking, and the BigQuery ML CA is a simpler but lack the flexibility, but splitting the model and comparison. The Bartex AI experiment will give you the ML metadata and comparing the model performance. This way, AI giving us the very flexible, uh, very flexible for the model training as well as model performance and compare the evaluation of the metrics and everything better than the big queries here. So I can choose the option A. Option A would be the best answer for this questions solution for this question solution. Let us another sample question. Suppose you are another question. Suppose you are implementing a base interference ML pipeline in the cloud, right? The model was developed using the TensorFlow and stored in the same model format in the cloud storage. You need to apply the model to the historical data set containing the 10 dp of the data that is stored in the BigQuery table. How should you perform the inference? Give you the four options: the export the historical data to cloud storage in an order format and configure the Bartex AI batch prediction job to generate the prediction for the export data. Import the TensorFlow model by using the create model statement in the BigQuery ML. Apply the historical data to the TensorFlow model. Export the historical data to cloud storage CSV format and configure a Bartex AI basis prediction job to generate the prediction for the exported data. And configure a Bartex AI based prediction job to apply the model to historical data in the BigQuery. What say in this question, the TensorFlow save the model format stored in the cloud storage. TensorFlow model save the model format stored in the cloud storage, and 10 TB data, historical data set stored in the BigQuery table. Two data sources, the BigQuery data source and cloud storage data source, and run the base inference at large scale. I mentioned you the before, when you work in the model training, you must give the concentration, the challenge of your pipeline, your challenge of your workflow. When you see your question is spoken just only BigQuery ML, then you need to check which kind of model you have choose to create your model, and what type of function solution you want to build. You need to based on the model option. That as like this, there is a when now you are working thinking about the type pipeline management. So you need to know how you can manage the big pipeline, high workload pipeline in at a times, and what type of techniques you need to apply here, and what kind of facilities have in the Vertex AI platforms, and how you can utilize it, how you can utilize it. The base inference at a large scale and export data to the cloud storage and Vertex AI prediction. This is the ability approach. You can export the data from BigQuery and feed the Vertex based prediction, and but exporting the 10 dB of insufficient and costly both time and storage, and import the tensor model into the BigQuery ML. BigQuery ML support the importing the TensorFlow save model. Just you can call the create models the option and model type and TensorFlow. Once they imported, you can just run the ML the prediction, predict directly the BigQuery table. No export needed. That's what you can call the TensorFlow model for save this model inside of the BigQuery inside the BigQuery console, and it's efficient because the inference happens directly inside the BigQuery where the data already lives. This is the same platform. This give you the extra flexibility. The similar export to the CSP Vertex AI based prediction, similar to but even the less efficient because CSP is not optimized for large scale based ML pipeline. The overall this is the origin the very odds option for us because ML pipeline will not support a CSP is not optimized. The Vertex AI based prediction directly on the BigQuery data only supported input from the cloud storage, JSON and CSV and other format. This is the I'm talking about the file format. You know, when you work with the very it is small or big, it does not matter. You need to give some concentration. Which type of data format you are using? It is CSV, is JSON, is the Abro, then it will be affected something when you ingesting the data, when you cleaning the data to one platform to call in the another platform, and where it will sometimes it was rely on the extra feature of the differences. So you need to give the concentration as well as these things. The Vertex AI based prediction jobs only support the input from the cloud storage, JSON, CSV, and overall, not others option. But BigQuery table directly cannot directly point them on the table. So your correct answer we can get the input the transfer model into the BigQuery ML and run the prediction directly into the BigQuery. So we don't need to run go through with the Vertex AI based prediction because of the 10 dB TV of data already in the BigQuery, and BigQuery ML natively support the TensorFlow save model. Because in the question they say the TensorFlow save model can save into the Google Cloud storage. So it is to avoid too expensive data export. So you can run ML predict at scale and store the result back into the BigQuery. You can manage the very big data set into the BigQuery own console. So you don't need to go through the Vertex AI based prediction. That's when there is another option you can find out. When you if you know the what kind of external platform or external functions model are supporting the BigQuery ML, then it will be easiest for you. So when you read your BigQuery ML documentation, find out the external documentation, what kind of model are supported there. Is parallel pipeline or base pipelines, how it is work, what the difference between the BigQuery pipeline, BigQuery into the BigQuery and Vertex base prediction pipeline. You can find out in depth insight from there. We can go through the another sample question. Suppose you work for a company that sell the corporate electronics product to the thousands of the business worldwide, and your company is to historical customer data in a BigQuery. You need to build a model that predict the customer lifetime value over the next 3 years, and you want to use the simplest approach to build the model, and you want to have access to visualization tool. What should you do? What should you do? The option A, the create a vertex A workbench notebook to perform the explore the data analysis, use the Python magic to the create a new BigQuery table and input the feature, use the BigQuery console to run the create model statement, validate the result by using the ML evaluate and ML predict statement. Option B, run the create model statement from the BigQuery console to create a AutoML model, validate the result by using the ML evaluate and ML predict statement, create a Vertex AI workbench notebook to perform the exploratory data analysis and create an input feature, save the feature as a CSV file in the cloud storage, import the CSV file as a new BigQuery table, and use BigQuery table and use the BigQuery console to run the create model statement and validate the result by using the ML evaluate and ML predict statement. And option D, create a Vertex AI workbench notebook to perform the exploratory data analysis and use the Python magic to create a new BigQuery table with input feature, create the model and validate the result by using the create model and M evaluated at ML predict statement. But the same things, how you will fact finding. Okay. When you work the Bartex AI, you need to know what is the Bartex AI workbench notebook and what breaks notebook limitation, how you can interact with the BigQuery ML, what kind of the function model you can call it, and model function, what kind of the model function you can call with, how you can share it with the third party, how can you share it with your team, what kind of the flexibility you have inside this Bartex AI workbench through the model training and performance evaluation and data ingestion, everything, every single bit, you just step by step, you need to think like this way. Then you can find out actually in-depth solution for you, in-depth solution for you. Suppose in the inside this question, the customer history already in the BigQuery, customer history under the BigQuery, and predict customer lifetime value and regression problem. This is the regression problem, the continuous outcome, and it's need to be the simple approach and have access to the visualization tool. BigQuery already have the own chart system, UI chart system. You can visualize it, and no mention the custom ML pipeline or notebook being mandatory. In this question, there is no mention the custom ML pipeline or notebook being mandatory. While you go through the evaluation option, the Bartex A workbench and BigQuery Magic plus BigQuery ML, this work but involves the extra complexity, notebook setup, writing feature, and etc. Not the simplest way, since the data already live in the BigQuery and BigQuery ML can handle the training directly, the more effort than needed. This is the more effort than needed. But in the B, the run create the model in the BigQuery console, AutoML model plus ML and evaluate plus ML dot predict the exactly the simplest option, because BigQuery, when you create the model BigQuery inside the BigQuery console with a auto model plus evaluation and prediction, and BigQuery ML support the AutoML table for the tabular regression problem. I said you mentioned you need to think about what kind of model support the BigQuery and external, how it will cooperate with others model from the others platforms. You need to take consider this. So no notebook required as all done in the SQL. The BigQuery console also built-in visualization tool to inspect the result. If you have the your when you practice on the Google Schoolbox, you will see the BigQuery have the own visualization tool, and you can query data and to see the inbuilt visualization. You can uh, make a inbuilt visualization for your data, and it was matched perfectly. It was matched perfectly, and Bartes AI workbench and export CSV and re-import it to BigQuery, then the train. This is very insufficient. Bartex AI workbench, export to the CSV, and re-input to the BigQuery. This is not the simplest process. And Bartex AI workbench and Mazis create the model just more tightly integrated with the notebook. It's still not the simplest and extra step you need to require, and also you need to you need to extra configuration. So run create the model statement from the BigQuery console to create an AutoML model. Create the model statement from the BigQuery console to create an AutoML model and validate with the ML evaluate and ML predict, because this is the correct, because the US BigQuery ML auto ML, no feature engineering required upfront, as well as keep everything in a BigQuery, no data movement. You don't need to move one platform to the another platform. Also, you can visualize your BigQuery data into the BigQuery console in the simplest and most Google recommended approach to CLB prediction on the tabular data in the BigQuery. That means the correct and best answer should be the B. But BigQuery have already the customer data, but predict the customer items will be regression tasks. Must be simplest approach, but not the more sorry. Must allow the visualization tools to run the create model in the BigQuery console using the BigQuery type and auto ML regression model, and with the minimal effort, or to the minimal effort. So it is with in the technical, and if you go through this proper, this is very complex question. If you go through it, you figure out the uh, which one actually it was very conducting, it is very similar with the B with the D. Okay, but as the exam and the interview expectation, Google recommended best practice for simplicity plus visualization. Then it is the B is best choice for me. Okay, if your scenario emphasize the deep customs visualization beyond the BigQuery ML, building the chart, then D could be the correct. D could be the correct. But if you just the simple visualization, then you don't need to go through it. The more advanced visualization, then should be the B correct. If you need the more advanced visualization, then you can go through it the D. Let us the deep dives the another sample question. Uh, another sample questions. Another sample question. This is you create a model that uses the BigQuery ML to perform the linear regression, and you need to retrain the model on the uh, cumulative data collected every week, and you want to minimize the development effort and scheduling the cost. What should you do? Again, you create the model that use the BigQuery ML to perform the linear regression, and you need to retrain the model on the cumulative data collected every week. You want to minimize the development effort and scheduling the cost. What should you do? They use the BigQuery scheduling service to run the model, returning the query and predictably create the pipeline in the Bartex AI pipeline that execute at retaining the query, and use the Cloud Scheduler API to run the query weekly. Use the Cloud Run Scheduler to trigger the Cloud Run function every week and run the query, retraining the model. And option D, use the BigQuery API connector and cloud scheduler to trigger the workflow every week that retrain the model. Retrain the model. In the question, you can see what the problem is, the BigQuery ML in the regressional model. And we need to retrain weekly and cumulative data. So minimize development approach, no complex inference, and minimize scheduling cost, avoid the unnecessary cloud function and workflow. So BigQuery has the built-in schedule query feature, and we can directly schedule our query to write the create or replace the model query. It was the fully managed and no extra inference, no cloud function or extra workflows we need. So this is look like the simplest and low cost option. But Bartex AI pipeline and cloud scheduler, it is pipelines are more complex than ML workflow. Data preparation, training, evaluation, and development, and require the extra components plus cloud scheduler. And the too much development effort you need. But option C, the cloud scheduler plus CRUD function, CRUD scheduler trigger a CRUD function that execute a BigQuery retrain the query. Works, but CRUD function and unnecessary inference management plus cost, but not a minimal effort cost compared to the scheduler query. But option D, BigQuery API connector and cloud scheduler, even the more complex involves workflow and API connector. Definitely higher complexity and cost. So it is, if you talking of the simplest and low cost, then that's when A should be the best answer. A should be the best answer, because uh, this is very simple. Use the BigQuery scheduling service to run the model, returning the query and predictor, because BigQuery has the own built-in scheduling service. So you can run and returning this query and run the rescheduling. Let us the another sample question. Uh, uh, Another sample. No, okay. Another sample
Mohammed,
question.
I'm so sorry. I should switch into your
It is
talk because we have just 15 minutes and we should be strict to our
okay.
agenda.
Okay, I already discussed enough complex.
I should start another another session at 15 minutes. I can't be late.
Okay, I already discussed about the BigQuery's AutoML custom trainings. Whatever the custom sample question I explained here, there is a almost main concept is here actually. When you work with the BigQuery ML, AutoML, and custom trainings, and what you need to take consider everything based on that I earlier said, your requirement and your flexibility, your budget and timings. So the BigQuery I already explained this session, and here is the another chart you can see in this diagram how actually the complex and the custom model was training, which section your overall model development and prediction and evaluation that I mentioned you before. In this diagram, you can see the you can define your data scheme and target and analyzing your input feature. After that, you train the model. After that, you can feature the engineering, you select the feature, you know the what the feature engineering and what kind of phys- benefit you can uh, use together using the feature engineering. You can go through this in-depth details for the Google Cloud documentation, and there is you will find out some of these use cases that will help you to best understanding and model selection as well as the hyper twinning. Because after you model developed, you will not stop in the one phases. You need to live continue until you get your expectation of the result. And previous that I already mentioned discussed about things already that you can uh, uh, when you should use the custom model, you have these custom model trainings, you have a more flexibility to choose any framework, and your model flexibility, your model training option yourself. If there is no anything predefined, you have a full flexibility to control your model trainings. So you can see in the chat the Python, TensorFlow, Python, any framework you can choose on your custom model training on the Vertex AI. So there is a two platform, the Colabs and the Vertex AI, as like you need to know actually externally. When I was discussing about the sample question, I give you the insight, every single things when you learn, suppose the Vertex AI, BigQuery ML, you need to find out actually what kind of feature, and it is give you the accurate result and how it will cooperate with the others platform, how you can integrate with each model prediction, each model to another model to suppose model. You can create the model from one platform and you can evaluate the other platform based on your requirement and your flexibility and times requirement, and you need to explore these things. So uh, today I want to finish here. And so next session, I will go through more in depth based on the exam curriculum and outlined. Today, I just focus about to the predefined API and BigQuery ML and how you can choose the BigQuery ML over the Vertex AI, over the AutoML ML option. So next week I will go through more in depth and with more advanced syllabus so that you can cover it. Also, there is another link I want to share with you. If you seen this my if you seen this my URL, this is the MLOps option. This is the practitioner guide to the MLOps, a framework for continue. It's the framework. This is the very Google Cloud documentation. You can browse and you can search this, check this document. You will find out actually how MLOps framework actually uh, work as for the delivery and automation, how you can choose which framework and how it is work for your complex solution model development, and it will give you the very important insight. It is a very important insight to deploy your model to choose the framework for continuous delivery and automation. You can keep this note for your further homework. Whatever the discussed here, it will support you. Either sometimes you will feel difficulties to understand something or the extent, but when you go through this documentation, actually you will fully understand how complex model training is work and different type of nature, different type of baseline pipeline processing workflow, how you can manage and what are type of steps you need to take, and when you need to make what type of decision, what type of ML option you need to choose. You can find out from here. I hope you will like it, and next week we will see you again. Thank you for join and listening me.
So, okay, dear attendees, biggest thanks, Mohammad, for your time, for such descriptive talk, for discussion questions, and of course, feel free to, if you have time, to share necessary resources and questions at Discord channel. And so, yes, and this brings us to the end of today's session. And next week, Mohammed will be key speaker as well. I would like to mention that this session was recorded and will be shared later at the YouTube channel and as a post at LinkedIn and of course at our Discord channel. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. And during this session was few questions, but Kate answered and me answered. So I think we answer all questions. So you
If there are any question, then I can answer, or if they hear the recording, they will find out. Also, there is some resource link I will provide that will be might helpful to them to understand.
okay, many thanks. So once again, thank you everyone for joining, and we look forward to seeing you in our next session next Saturday. But
Thank you,
until
everyone.
then,
Thank you,
yes,
Anna.
please feel free to ask questions at Discord channel, and of course, finish necessary labs because only finishing labs is big part of preparing for these exams. And of course, the Discord channel will share questions. So let's discuss these questions. So, okay, see you next Saturday. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
everyone. Bye.